been a while since we've had to go live, so I'm sure there's some sort of bugs to work out.
There's no video, that's fine.
No video, but there's sound.
Yep.
So we are live. Perfect.
Yep.
All right, it's 6:01, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. If everyone could please join me for the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Kale, go ahead and do the roll call.
Right, Michael Gervin,
Here.
Larry Diamond,
Here.
Matt Baggy,
Here.
Ruby Norris, Scott.
Here.
All right, and it's my understanding that Ruby is close by. She should be here soon. Before we jump into board organization, since I will be handing the meeting over, I just want you guys to take a note on your agenda that we are going to add an action item to vote on whether or not to tear down the Jefferson Street building. So we can get that approved or denied and go forward there. So that will need to be added into the consent agenda. And then add action items. Welcome, Ruby.
Hello, how are you?
We're good. We just took rolls. You went from not here to here.
Did you say consent agenda? Yeah, that one first.
Consent agenda. Action items right here. I didn't ask for that vote yet. No, we just have to, we have to have it on there before we vote on the consent agenda.
Oh, the change. I'm with you.
You changed the.
Yeah.
It's on my note, but I wanted to make sure it was on everyone's.
Yeah.
Would that be under,
Action items.
I know, like 9
Oh, probably
E,
G,
D,
9G. Do it last.
E, G, D, G.
Okay, now that Ruby's here, we're gonna go into board organization. This is the election of the board chair and the vice chair. So the floor is open for nominations for both.
I'd like to nominate Scott for chair.
Scott, you accept the nomination?
I will accept the nomination.
Any other nominations for either board chair or vice chair?
Board chair or vice chair?
Mhm.
I nominate Mike Griffin for vice chair.
Mike, you accept? Okay. Floor is still open for nominations for both positions. Going once, going twice, closing nominations. All right. So I don't think we have to vote since it's just anonymous, unanimous. There's the word. But what do you think, Kale? Should we vote or?
Yeah, other than that, we used to go.
No, but there's no contestants, so I should be able to turn the floor over to Scott. Congratulations, you're the new chair.
It might be your last roll call. You don't want to miss it, you know? Okay, thanks, Samantha. Congratulations, Michael, my new vice chair. Let's roll right into consent agenda then. Has there been a chance to review that? There's some new hires, resignations, and there's also the agenda change item with the Jefferson Street building vote coming up as item 9G. Anybody have any questions about that, or else we'll look for a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All right, it has been moved by Ruby and seconded by Samantha to approve the consent agenda. Gail, you want to call roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good.
Okay. Mike,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Samantha,
Aye.
Ruby,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0, and we'll move into presentations. And the first presentation on our agenda tonight is the Sheridan High School cheer item. Truly National Proposal.
Hi.
Welcome. Yeah, have a seat.
I'll stand if that's okay, just because we have some
Stand.
lovely presenters
For
today.
sure.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sheridan, I'm the head coach, and this is one of my assistants, Hannah Fitzmaurice. Our cheer team has won a nationals bid, so it's a prestigious thing to be nominated. You can't just go to nationals, you have to be invited to nationals, and that's from a lot of work our cheer team has put in the past years as well as this summer. They went to a camp where they showed all of their skills, and then we sent those skills to a board of approval for nationals. And they got it, so that's very exciting. In front of you, I gave you guys all a nationals proposal from the cheer team, so you can kind of know what we're talking about. So it is JAM's School Cheer Nationals Competition. It's held in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Orleans Hotel and Arena. It's cheer teams from all over the U.S. and split into different divisions depending on what level we're at, not like our normal levels. So we were placed into two categories. We are tumbling level 1, traditional, and then also game day, which is a lot of our sideline stuff, which is co-ed levels, which is fun. We're excited. We have multiple athletes here. This is not even our full team. So that's very exciting. We have a great program started, and they're ready to show the whole U.S. about Sheridan and put our name out there. So it is coming up. The date of the event is January 24th and 25th coming up, and that's why we're trying to ask approval now. We will need to move forward with flights and hotel plans as soon as possible. We will be traveling that Thursday because check-in for the event is that Thursday evening, so we would leave Thursday morning. We would compete Friday and Saturday twice, so 3 times of performance. Sunday, we would have more of a team bonding day and congratulations that we made it. And then Monday, we would come home. Only missing 2 days of school, that Thursday and that Monday. All of our athletes are OSA bound by grades and eligibility, so we will make sure that they stay on top of that as well. Currently, we'll be staying at the Orleans Hotel. Each room has up to 4 athletes separated by boys and girls. We also have 1 coach per 5 athletes, which is a great ratio. We also have a boys coach as well, because we do have boys on our team. So we have everyone supervised well, even without all of our parents, which are also stepping up. Cost per student is about $1,000. This includes airfare, registration fees, hotel stay, bonding, food, anything that they would need during the trip. All of our athletes have already started getting sponsorships and fundraising. They've shown their fundraising ability by fundraising for camp, which was about $400 per athlete already. So they are motivated. They're ready to go. All of our coaches are fully background checked, OSA, OCCA, NFHS, USA Cheer qualified. They've been cheering themselves for years, and they are also fully vetted already by the Sheridan School District as volunteers. So we know that they're in safe hands. I know the name Las Vegas can be a breathtaking name to say, especially for high school students, but I feel that we're well equipped to make sure that they're safe and their time is scheduled when we're having safe activities. We have multiple fundraisers coming up in order to make this happen. Our parents are extremely involved this year. We're very, very thankful. And we even have a spelled out itinerary on page 2 of when we're traveling, what we're doing the entire time. It is a team event. The athletes will be with the team the whole time. They will not be going off with families, even if they come to watch. So they will be supervised by adults the whole time. If you have any questions, we would love to answer them. We also have a couple of our seniors who would love to mention why this is so exciting for them. You want to introduce yourself?
Either way, whatever you're comfortable with.
I'm Megan Whitehead. I'm an incoming senior this year. This is going to be my 4th year cheering. When I came my freshman year, I wasn't sure that cheer had competitions. I thought it was just football. So when there's competitions introduced to me my freshman year, I was really excited about that. And now I'm going to be a senior and I have the opportunity to go to nationals, which is a super great opportunity for me to meet other people and as well just build my knowledge as a cheerleader as well. So that's why I'm really excited for this upcoming season for me.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Tasha Trujillo. I'm gonna be a senior this year. I joined cheer my freshman year as well. I only did football though. What I'm excited about to go to nationals. I'm mostly excited for the experience, the fact that it's on a college resume, and I just really want Sheridan to be on a map cheer-wise because we're kind of just out in the middle of nowhere.
So, I also wanted to share one really great thing as a coach. My first year taking over, this is my third year with the program, we walked into a college camp at OSU, and the cheerleaders turned around to me walking in that arena, and they said, "We don't belong here. We've never been here. We don't belong here. What are you doing to us?" And they were like, "Can we go home now?" I was like, "No, let's try. Let's go." This year, we had other teams coming up to them and up to us coaches saying, "You guys are who we look up to." Like, they wanted to be Sheridan. And I'm so thankful for all of our athletes for making that possible and putting Sheridan on the map in the cheer world like that. So, yes, they worked hard.
Great. Okay. Thanks everyone for the presentation. Thanks for bringing the whole team out tonight. It's great to see everybody.
I just did want to make a comment, if that's okay. I did notice that week of travel, it's a holiday on Monday, so they would also be missing Friday. So there'd be 3 days of missed school.
So we did put in there they'd be missing 2 days. I did not know Monday was a holiday, so they'll still be missing the 2 days of school. It wouldn't alter our plans very much.
Oh.
Yes.
This one's before us for a vote for board policy, out-of-state travel and whatnot. Congratulations on being invited. That's a great honor. I'm sure it reflects hours and hours of work and whatnot. Does anybody have any questions? Any other comments for?
I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead, Samantha.
Knowing that it's a budget year that we had to make some severe cuts, I'm just curious what the district is going to end up supplying to this, and then insurance, what that looks like on your side.
Absolutely. So budget-wise for the district, so far our cheer program is fully funded themselves. Our athletes buy their own uniforms, their own comms, everything. We do ask Booster Club to help fund, like this year, they're helping us fund some flags to go, but we try not to take from district funds at all. Currently, we only ask for athletic funds to help us pay for our state competition, and that has been the only thing that we've asked.
The coaches and everything will be fundraised for and included in that lump sum
Yes,
then? Okay, so no cost to the district.
No cost to the district.
And then insurance, what does that look like?
Yes, so each athlete has their own insurance, and that's in our school district waiver. So as a coach, we always make sure that they're up to date on all physicals and all waivers. On top of that, I am also, all of our coaches are insured by NFHS, which is an additional coaching certification and insurance, as well as USA Cheer. I also direct West Valley youth programs. So I have full team insurance up to 575 athletes. My youth team, which is growing rapidly, is only 100. So as a director of all programs, I can also insure it that way.
Okay. And do you think that one adult per 5 students is sufficient in Las Vegas?
I do, for the fact that we have a male coach. So some of our boys will fall into that. I think that is a huge asset to our team, as we do have co-ed members. Will be also asking our parents to step up, which are huge. I do think 1 per 5 is great. Technically, OSA rules are 1 per 10, but I don't feel comfortable with that number, especially co-ed. So that's why we make the 1 per 5 rule. At this point, to get more than that, considering we are a voluntary base, is very difficult to reach out to other coaches. But we will absolutely get more if we have to.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. We went on the DC trip
Yeah.
earlier in the year, and it was so fantastic having all the extra parents
Yes.
who did the background checks and all the things.
Yeah.
It made our ratio like 2 students to 1 adult,
So nice. Yeah.
and that was very, very nice. So
Yes.
I'm just thinking you might
We
want
would
that for
definitely
your
still reach
stress
out to
level.
family. It's not our maximum amount of people that are going, but that is our minimum of adults.
Yeah.
That are at least confirming they can go. Yeah.
Does anybody have any other questions, comments, or presenters? If not, we'll look for do we act on this one later? Or do we just?
We put the action
It's
item
there.
here, so they don't have to.
Oh, we're going to vote here, so I have to stay. Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion to let him go.
Yeah, if we want to, we have to approve out-of-state travel by policy.
So I motion.
Ruby already moved it.
Oh,
So you just use.
second.
Okay, it's been moved by Ruby, seconded by Michael to approve out-of-state travel for the Sheridan High School cheer team nationals competition. Any other questions, comments, or Kelly? Go ahead and take a vote.
Okay. Mike Rubin,
Aye.
Larry Dowell,
Aye.
Samantha Maggie,
Aye.
Ruby Artist,
Aye.
Scott Burke.
Aye. All right, it's unanimous.
Have fun and be safe.
Have fun, do great.
I don't think it makes sense, but it is 3 days, but they're big ones.
It's like,
Because Monday before
There
the
goes our
holiday,
audience.
the Friday you have the makeup on. So it'd be
We were the
Friday
place to
and
be,
then Monday.
apparently not.
yeah.
But I was like, I don't know how important that is. I guess.
Yeah. And we have Molly.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out, Molly.
Okay,
Phew, now we can come in.
second round, yeah, we can trade crowds here, yeah. Okay, so next on our agenda tonight, we have a SEDCOR presentation. I believe Evisha Stone is going to lead that tonight. So step on up and introduce yourselves.
Welcome to our SEDCOR team. The district this last year, very intentional to contract with SEDCOR for the Barbara Roberts project to continue that, and I have invited these two wonderful individuals to introduce themselves and then give the report from last year.
Thank you, Dory. Thank you for having us here tonight. Eric Anderson with SEDCOR, I'm the president of SEDCOR.
And I'm Avisha Stone, the Yamhill County Economic Development Manager for SEDCOR.
And before we, first of all, thank you for putting us after cheerleaders. It's a hard act to follow.
Going to
Yeah.
nationals, geez.
We're going to start a little, but we decided against it. We thought I'd start a little bit about just what SEDCOR is in case you're not familiar with this, and then Avisha will kind of guide you through the report that we put together. SEDCOR has been around for 42 years. We're a regional economic development organization that stands for Strategic Economic Development Corp. We were originally part of the city of Salem. We spun out to be a nonprofit and standalone organization. And over time, we've expanded into throughout Marion County, Polk County, and Yamhill County. We're a membership-based organization, in addition to working with a variety of communities on various aspects of community and economic development. Kind of divide our work into sort of four basic groups: business retention and expansion, mostly with traded sectors, sort of manufacturing jobs. They're the ones that really provide the economic impact in the community. So for us, it's being proactive and going out and talking to our manufacturers, talking to the businesses, learning what their opportunities are, what their challenges are, and basically using our so use the term Rolodex, I have to put in quotes, because a lot of people don't know what that is. Our Rolodex of resources and connections to help businesses to thrive. And as you all know, thriving businesses mean thriving economies and thriving communities. And it's good for the schools as well. We also do business recruitment. Generally, that's working with businesses that are interested in coming into the region. And we help package information, resources, employment, work skills, the employment base, employee base. The third area is entrepreneurism, something we've been diving into a little bit more in the last few years. We spend a lot of time with startup businesses, particularly through our Latino Micro Enterprise Development Program. We've been able to expand that into Yamhill County this year, working with Unidos in McMinnville. We offered our first cohort, I think 37 graduates of that program, so we'll be doing that again next year here in the county. We also have an Ag Tech program that we're working with an organization called Ag Launch out of Memphis, Tennessee. For us, there's we even put a dashboard of STEM jobs in ag and food on our website, because it's really important for us to recognize that there's technology in all industries, and traditionally we grow thwillamette Valley. So if we're able to identify ways for businesses to tech up or startup businesses to provide technology to our traditional industries. It's kind of a win-win. And our fourth category is more on the community development side, and I include the work that Avishad has been doing here in Yamhill County in particular. It's been quite innovative, not just for our region and economic development, but also I think in the state. We're one of the first organizations that really understood that both workforce housing and daycare options are really important to our employers. And we do pride ourselves in the fact that our work is based on is being industry led. And what we learn when we're talking to businesses is how we really formulate our work plans. So if they tell us that they can't find workers or have trouble keeping workers because there's no daycare facilities or there's limited housing for them, we don't want to just become a housing organization or a daycare organization, but instead we research, we convene, we identify partners, and then we move forward to try to find solutions. And it's been really exciting work, and Abhishek has been really taking the lead in that for us in our work plan. That kind of leads us to workforce training and the kind of work we've been doing here with the Sheridan School District. We've talked with a lot of businesses over the years and recognizing that where they find workers, where the workforce pipeline comes from is really important. And something that just 15, 20 years ago, and even more recently in some cases, educators and local industries weren't necessarily talking to each other. SEDCOR was quite instrumental in bringing some of the first CTE programs to the region, particularly the CTEC program in Salem-Kaiser. And we've tried to take what we learned from that and apply that to other opportunities. And I think when Barbara Roberts Center came along as an option, it was very exciting for us to play a role again, really from the ground up and tie that into what the business community needs. And that's really where our expertise lies. With that, I'll hand it over to Avishad.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to see you all again. Thanks for having me. And I'm pretty sure I just heard in the hallway that we've had a transition of chair on the board. And
Scott.
Congratulations,
10 minutes.
Director Burke, Chair Burke.
Thank you.
So as Eric mentioned, working on youth workforce development programs through school districts is not something new to SEDCOR. So SEDCOR was instrumental in Salem CTEC. I personally, as many of you know, my career background is in industrial food manufacturing. I sat on an advisory committee 10 years ago for the Salem CTEC facility. Eric sits on an advisory committee for the Willamette Career Academy, where we've been partnering with recently, for example, DCI, who's invested in a dental hygiene pathway at Willamette Career Academy. So this is work that we have historically done and continue to support throughout the region because we know that it is so vital to building the workforce for our traded sector businesses. You have a report that we provided you, and I don't want to go through all of the components of that report, but I'll highlight a couple of things. So we've actually been working with Superintendent Vickery on this program since 2021. When we first really became aware of the school's commitment to doing this work, the initial round of funding came through Representative Gomberg, which was really exciting. We immediately jumped on board to say, hey, let us help you work to develop some of these advisory committees that we know you're going to need. Let us help you get the word out so that industry partners understand there's an opportunity to participate also financially to the work that you're trying to do. We participated in the county ask for the $1.4 million in funding. And I first of all, I have to say that I was really impressed with the fact that the Sheridan School District, that this group was so committed to creating a career technical education center to serve not only your school district, but those around you, because it is a very big lift. And in comparison to some of those other efforts in the state, you're a small community. Small but mighty and very committed. And it's been a fun project for us to work on. So, as you've seen the contract work that we've laid out here in summary, and maybe some of you have seen the more detailed contract work, most of what SEDCOR is contracted to do is to provide capacity to the school district to manage the advisory committee, so the project advisory committee, and then the multiple advisory committees for the career pathways. This is actually a lot of work, right? I mean, just organizing schedules of very busy industry folks to get meetings can be a lot of work. I've been very impressed by the school district staff and their commitment to carving out time to actualize opportunities for meetings and to, jointly go and ask for donations. And I've been especially enjoyed working with past Chair Bagby on this because she's kind of dogged and has absolutely no shame in asking folks for support, nor should she. None of us should have shame, but she's not embarrassed even, right? Just, this is something that we passionate. That is the best word. And it certainly has proven to be fruitful. This is not a hard project to get our industry partners interested in, right? We need to find the right fit when it comes to opportunities for donation and participation for the industry partners, but none of them have to be convinced of the value. So we have helped to develop the 4 advisory committees for the career pathways. We continue to meet regularly. We are working hard to align the timing of construction with the timing of programmatic build out so that we're staying relevant. One of the things that we've been working hard on the last several months especially, but since the beginning, is identifying industry partners for finished product production. And so you've probably heard Superintendent Vickery talk about partnering with industry for the manufacturing pathway, right? So very much sort of like a culinary program. In order to actually have sort of a true program that shows developable skills, you need to have a product that the kids are making, and you need to have an audience that is consuming the product, right? So whether that's an industry partner or it's people in the cafeteria, there needs to be someone that says on the back end, yes, this is what I ordered. Yes, it's good. Yes, I would pay for it. So part of this work is pinning down what is that project or product or widget that the kids can manufacture in the process. And I guarantee that there are opportunities for that. Sometimes, again, it's the cart and the horse in these conversations. So as we get closer to construction date, you will see the industry partners say, okay, now I can commit to this volume of this widget for the next 2 years with these kiddos. So just to give you guys context to these conversations, even though we might not be able to say today, here's what the kids will be making in this pathway, that's in part because those partners need to make sure they understand the timeline so they're not offering a false commitment, right? Because their product lines sometimes change in terms of volumes, if not in terms of spec, and so they don't want to make a false commitment to us just because the timeline was a little off. We continue to move forward also on seeking donations from our industry partners. We have so far gotten commitment from Riverbend to offer us a discount in aggregate materials as an offering for donation. As you've probably heard, we're working with Cascade Steel Radius Recycling, who is eager to offer us a material donation, and we are providing them specifications on, or just recently provided specifications on those materials, so we're waiting to get a final commitment. We are following up with the official ask with Knife River on aggregate material for donation as well. We've identified that we have 2 students who have parents that work for Knife River, which is a requirement of Knife River for their larger sort of donation opportunity. We were able to secure a lower price for our trailer for one of the simulators through our friends over here at Forest River. And I'm trying real hard not to mix up the 3 river names because it's Riverbend, Knife River, Forest River. It seems like whenever I talk about them, I say the wrong one at the right time. So, and of course, we were able to save approximately $30,000 in that conversation with them. So we'll keep moving forward. As with past Chair Bagby, I ask any and all of you to please let me know if you have identified an opportunity with an industry partner, if you have a question, if you have a contact, someone who you think would be a good partner for the program. And I'm glad to reach out and continue building that Rolodex of partners for the program. We want to make sure we offer enough time for questions. So I'll just kind of close with this. This work that Superintendent Vickery and the principals and all of your staff have been doing is a very big lift. And it definitely takes a team to do this. And I appreciate you all recognizing that additional capacity is required to keep it moving forward. And we are really proud to be able to partner on this project. So thank you for allowing us to support you in this way.
Great. Thanks for coming tonight to present. I know since the beginning of this project and before, SEDCOR has been an integral partner in so many ways, getting funding developed, giving us capacity. It's been all positive as far as I can tell. So I know we all appreciate that as we make progress, keep moving down the line. Does anybody have any questions they want to bring up in the presentation and comments?
I have a comment. We wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for your guys and your partnership. So I really thank you for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's nice to read through the report here, just remember all the milestones, because it's been a few years now and like, oh yeah, we got $500,000, we got another half, and then see things that are still in motion. So it's we're just still at the start of the journey, not the first step, but we got ways to go.
Right. And it's good to know that these industry partners are in step with you. It's not, there is no waning interest. Some of them don't want to be the first one in for donation. Again, they don't want to offer a false commitment if they don't know timeline, but none of them have walked away from the project. Everyone continues to express a deep commitment to partnering. Actually, many of you probably know Colin Guinness over at Tectonics Tuning. He's like, I want to teach a class in the evenings. I want to support the youth, the adults. Like, how can I become really actually physically hands-on involved? And I'm like, it's coming, Colin. Don't you worry. We'll be calling on you.
Well, virtually every business, particularly manufacturing that we talk to, has said, how do we not only reach younger and younger potential future workers, but their families, to let them know that there are careers in these industries and these are the skills that you need, and that they can be delivered locally. So we really commend you folks for taking this step. I know it is a big lift and a long haul, but I think it's a really great investment in the community.
It's great. It's a big lift for the whole community.
Yeah.
Wide
And all the
region.
communities around us. Yeah.
So what kind of timeline are we basically talking about to get these partners engaged enough to say, hey, yeah, let's go with that? I mean, do we show them that, like we vote on tearing down the building now? Like there's a movement on our part, so it's going to happen one way or the other, right?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I know it's one that you're wrestling with. When do we make the decision to tear down the building? What action of ours will actually inspire action of others? And I would just have to say that it is action on your part that inspires action on the part of others. What action step you're prepared to take is certainly at the discretion of this board. But several of our partners and potential donors have made it clear to us that they need to know that there is a go date. They need to know that there is a tear down date, that there is a construction date. They also know that you guys are balancing having the funds to get to the second step of once you commit, you need to be prepared to have those funds. But they need to know that you're committed in order to commit the funds or the donation. And so they need to see the action steps from you. And it is a balancing game. And it's based on some tough decisions, and I lost the word I was looking for, but it's some bravery, right? Which you have already shown. You have already shown that, right? You have nothing to prove, but those steps need to keep moving forward on your side in order to show the commitment is still moving forward.
Do we have any more grants that we're looking at that's going to be coming in that you know of one way?
You remember that spreadsheet that they did?
Right.
Yeah. So all those are still in the works.
I think that could happen.
Some are revolving.
Something, I don't know, for Future Ready, that was the next big one that we did. And part of my report that I was sharing with the board about the Land Education Service District, moving forward to go to the state and say, we need a significant amount of money for rural CTEX across the state that will flow through ESDs. So there's a big push going to the state legislature for that next session, which I believe would start in January. And then we have, how much do we have with Salinas?
It's just under 900,000. I want to say 869,000, something like that. I don't have the exact number, so don't quote me, but in that range.
And we have a very good chance of getting that because we got the 500,000 under Berkeley and Wyden, and that opportunity opened the door for more federal money.
And we've met with her a few times, so.
Yes, and we had her out to the site.
Yeah, and I, just for an example, right, because I know you have a robust conversation after we leave, but just for example, if we're able to say to our industry partners, we are going to initiate phase 1, tear down on this date, and then we are going to start construction by this date, based on when you understand funding is coming and you're prepared to do that. If we can offer them dates, we can better solidify donations. I mentioned that Riverbend committed to a great discount of aggregate material, but they also have made it clear they can only hold that price for this year. So if that were not to come to fruition this year, we have to go back and ask them if they can carry that forward to next year or what next year's donation might look like. So they can't commit fully to what they can do for us until they know what the timeline of that ask is. So again, it's cart and horse.
Do we have the money to tear down?
Yes.
Let's tear it down.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
just to rein that in a little bit, yeah.
Remember that?
We have a full
Our
discussion.
horse part? Yeah. Mike's ready to go.
Let's get that rattle in here so we get the low rating. Let's do it.
Working with Bob Collins with OTAC to how far can we stretch the Hampton Lumber $1 million as we wait for this other funding to come through. So certainly getting the donations, if we can get the Knife River donation, that would be significant to really getting the surcharge rock in
When will we
there.
have the answer on that?
We just found out today about the second student, and I'm working with Gail to write the proposal to Knife River to request it.
My brother-in-law works for Knife River, so did that work?
Wonderful. Ask him to go talk to
Yes.
all the people there.
Actually, he's going down to Corvallis tomorrow.
Wonderful.
I think any
Maybe.
personal connection to them, they appreciate.
Any and every. They actually have requirements for their community impact project funding donations, and that it does require that it's a youth-based impact program, right? So we qualify there, and that a parent works for Knife River. So we have had to confirm that we have that, right? We found that out right after school got out. So hunting down, do we have kiddos with parents that work for them? And also, will that parent stand up as the sponsor? Has been a part of the process. And of course, it's their busiest time of year. So we're working with them to try to make these connections during a busy time. We will be submitting, it sounds like through the foundation side, full application requesting the donation. And I just forwarded you this information before I came in, Superintendent Vickery, I apologize, but at least as of a few months ago, the donation we're requesting was valued at $1.2 million. That would be the retail value of that donation. So I don't know to what level they would consider a donation, but we're asking them to consider a significant, a sizable contribution.
So we have two separate aggregate donations that we're working on, in a sense.
Well, I've
We
also,
have-
and I've spoken to both of them about each other, who has said, hey, maybe we can offer something and they can offer something and we can do this together. Now, to be frank, if it came down to naming rights, I think they would go fisticuffs to try to get their name on something. But it is not a hard sell for them to understand the value of their donation to the program and the value of the program to their industry.
That's great.
Yeah.
They can fight. Who wants to support us?
That's what I told them, you know, we'll get together over coffee, you guys can duke it out, it'll be fine.
We can sell tickets to make more money.
Absolutely. Always the entrepreneur in the room.
You know, River Bend used to be really big. I don't know how big it is.
They are,
They're still big.
they are.
I mean, they refused at one time.
Yes.
Knife
they are.
River's even bigger, I think, though, by volume, maybe?
I don't know, they were,
Maybe
Riverbend
not.
was purchased by a much larger organization.
Okay,
They're-
okay,
they're
they're
Irish.
a company.
Yes.
Okay.
They're pretty big.
International.
Oh, wow.
Are there any other questions for us? I know you have a lot of business to do.
Do we have a lot more discussion on that item later? At least it's an item. So if there's anything else, maybe specifically for SEDCOR, now's the time, because I assume you're not sticking around for a whole discussion. As exciting as it will be.
We'd love to, but
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks again for the partnership. I know we'll keep working together on this one. Keep making progress. So.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, and I do have some extra magazines here. I think there was some interest in that, so people want to get to know.
Great article written by your mayor.
Oh, that's right.
One after.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm like, I want one.
All right, next up on our agenda, public input. Do we have any public input tonight from anybody? Anyone? Nothing? All right.
Can I get one?
Oh,
Sorry.
Stealing them all.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Administrative reports, and first we have Mr. Galatia for Walton Chapman.
Okay, hello everyone. This one's pretty brief. I think I was here in June and that was the last meeting. So there's not a lot that's changed while we were off, but just mention some things going on here in August. Planning for the new year. Administration team came back to work about 2 weeks ago now. So the end of last school year and so far here in August, we've really just been working on obviously in-service week planning, but then taking a look at the Friday schedule and how we wanted to tweak and improve some of those things based off of feedback that we got at the end of last year. So that's been going well. Let's see, I moved right in and talk a little bit about staffing. We have one licensed position that we need to fill that we had someone taking a job closer to family down in the Eugene area here about a week ago. So we have one position to fill there. We have hired this year only 2 new certified staff members, Esperanza and Katie. Both will be middle school teachers for us. One in science, one in language arts. And they've been around the building a lot, eager to get started. And they're going to be great additions. Other than that, we're currently have one open position that actually the high school and the FCS would share that we're have open right now, waiting for some applicants. Just mentioned the custodial team there. The school looks great. Some of you know one of our head custodians was out here for a portion of the summer. And so, I had assumed that would really slow down the group a bit. But by the time I got back at the beginning of August and I was there a decent amount in July, they really got a lot done. So I'd say the building's in closer to being student ready at this point than I've seen in the last handful of years I've been principal. So thank them. They're doing great. And they've also helped me move a toolbox and curriculum and all kinds of stuff the last couple of weeks. Let's see, fall in service is coming up. The big thing this year, which we've mentioned here before, is the switch to our school management system. We're changing to Power School from eSchool. So that's kind of the main target here for in-service this week, is making sure the teachers are all trained up on that. With our mayor / tech guy / jack of all trades will help lead that training along with some folks from the ESD. And Power School management system, that's how you take attendance, how you mark your grades, how all of your information is kind of held and transferred. And so it's not a small change. It's not necessarily something that's going to be, game changing at the teacher's level, but just how we manage the day-to-day stuff. It's going to be a pretty big change. So a lot of planning for that. We also started registration today. That's today and tomorrow afternoon and evening. We're mentioning at that registration about the change to Power School. There's a new parent portal system that's not quite up and ready, but will be here soon. So we're talking to families about that. Kinder transition camps next week. And we also have the new employees return at the end of next week. And then all staff return Monday, the 26th. So that's pretty much all we got going on right now. Any questions for me?
Quick question. Oh, okay. I was going to ask about
Maybe you're going to cover it.
in year 2 of the 4-day schedule. I had a few parents ask over the summer, "Hey, are we doing that again? Just to be sure." I'm like, I know we're doing it again. But like, what changes are you making? Like, what improvements, or what do we look at and say, hey,
I
let's do
just
this
tried
again,
to
or do
open
this
it and I
again, or-
accidentally clicked close. Give me 1 second. Well, the big changes are, first off, we did a much better job of not trying to do too much in each individual Friday. I think that's one thing we learned last year. So this year we're going to target on more of a rotational basis, which is a district committee, which is a building level committee, which is a professional development focus, versus trying to do all of that within one Friday with shorter timeframes. So it'll be more, once a month or once every 2 weeks for a little bit longer period of time, versus a hop here, hop here, hop here, trying to get to every single meeting you can. We're a little more intentional with opportunities for students to come in on Fridays. There'll be a chunk of the morning instead of just being a K4 enrichment and then the high school kids who are really utilizing it, we're going to try and open that up to more K-12, truly by invite, highly encouragement. Hey, come in. You missed Tuesday. Come in. Let's work on this assignment. You can get some time in front of some staff member, depending on meeting schedules, stuff like that. Keeping the K4 enrichment program will be modified slightly, but having that maybe be a little more literacy focused, so we can utilize some early literacy grant funding to help that program. So just some tweaks like that. And a lot of it's based off of, number one, what we saw and heard anecdotally, but also some of the Studer surveys we did and some end of the year survey results. And like, okay, well, we're listening to the staff and trying to make some accommodations that just improve it. Last year was a bit of a shot in the dark because not a lot of people do it, this type of schedule. So yeah, some tweaks like that.
I will say that when we went to Estacada to visit on the Studer Destination High Performance, we learned about their 4-day model. And on Fridays, they do 2 hours of students, 2 hours for meetings, teacher collaboration time, and 2 hours for planning. And so that's where we're kind of the direction that we are heading, like Adam said, rather than too much on a Friday, give them the 2 hours of planning time. We also still have a significant number of teachers new to the profession. And my opinion of new to the profession is less than 5 years. It takes them longer to plan, especially if they're elementary and they have to plan for all subject areas. They have to know so many standards. So they really do need that time. The committees tend to be more of our experienced teachers, 15 years, 20 years, and they can plan lessons. They know those standards. They can put it together. But our newer staff still need more time. And they will also get mentorship again this year.
Yeah, the ESD mentorship through the RED program went very well. And it moved into a more of an optional, because a lot of these teachers are year 2 teachers, not year 1. And all of them, I think every single one returned and volunteered to sign back up for that program. And then we had additional teachers sign up for just the novice teacher experience teacher partnership program, which is a separate one. So that will all take place on Fridays too, as far as the meeting portions and stuff. So that program just grew.
I'm just happy to hear the middle school's going to have opportunities to come in and work with teachers. Because
Yeah.
I think that was like a missing thing last year.
Yeah, I think so too. And the middle school staff were pretty adamant there at the end of the year when we did a little feedback meeting that they wanted to carve out time to make sure that could happen. There's kinks to work out, because obviously there's not massive normal bus transportation. So we're going to have to figure out some sort of, Friday bus route if you can get to a spot here, or, tackle the barriers that we hit. But it definitely will have an increased ability to see kids on those mornings.
I have a power school question too. I know it's new. I know
Yeah.
you guys are learning it.
Mhm.
I'm just curious when it will roll out to parents and what that will look like now. Maybe they learned that in enrollment. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so at registration, we're basically giving them a very brief 10,000-foot overview of what it's going to be. And Kale's probably the best person to ask on this. But the way I understand it is they'll get an email with a parent portal invite that they will then sign up. And then it's fairly intuitive from there. And then we're going to do either an open house or a back to school night, either in service week or first, second week of school for FCS. When we do that, our plan is to have a station right there in the entryway and make sure we really funnel all of our parents to, hey, have you signed up yet? Let's make sure your email's right. And then try to really just do some massive outreach in September. It sounds like it's basically similar to Parent Square, where if you have your correct information in the system, it should just be a click through an email to get you connected. And it's pretty intuitive after that. But
Is it an app then?
Yeah, I believe it runs through an app or through the web, right? Yeah, so you can kind of either or, yeah. And it's one of those click, oh, there's my students' grades, real time. Here's da.
I'm just wondering, like, from a parent's perspective as well, if we should give a heads up, even if we don't know what it looks like yet, like, just so that people are aware, hey, there's a change.
Yeah.
I feel like we always like miss things, and then everyone's like, wait, how did I miss that? And you're like, what was on social media? And email went out. Well, they're not on social media and they don't check their email. So, like, how do we reach those?
Yeah, that's a good
people? I
point.
don't know.
It's a good point.
Can
Yeah.
we use the old system to send something?
We could,
out?
and for the most part, we could put out some more messaging through Parent Square, because that should just go to you,
Right.
whether you're
It should.
tech savvy or not, depending on what message
Just a
features we
warning
use.
a couple of times.
Yeah, and I think that's our general plan. McMinnville and Willamina and Dallas, all three are also switching systems this year. So we have Willamina's message because they're a week or two ahead of us. And then I just got my sons for McMinnville too. So we have some things we can copy and put out. I think the plan, Kale, correct me if I'm wrong, is once that parent side is live and they can actually click and it's going to work, that'll be the mass message time versus, hey, this thing's coming, but you can't use it or click on it yet. So just hold on a minute. Kind of didn't want to get too
I actually think it's good to give them the warning.
heads up.
To be honest with you, I feel like we tend to wait on communication until it's almost too late, and then people are like,
Sure.
well, why are we making changes last minute? Well, no,
Yeah.
actually, we've been working on it all year.
Yeah.
We just didn't know about
We
it.
just didn't know and
We just didn't
couldn't
tell you
use it
anything
yet.
about it.
That's
I think
fair.
it's okay to tell people that there's change coming,
Yeah.
watch for it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
That's just my one personal opinion.
But also, I get that you can't over communicate that stuff because
Yeah, I feel like a lot
you
of
get the
our
message
feedback-
like just right about now, and you're like, oh, okay. And I love
I'll
that
watch
idea
for
of
that.
sending
Yeah,
stuff through
yeah.
Parent Square because you
Yeah.
miss that. And you're like, where's all my stuff this year? Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's going on?
You told
That's
me.
fair.
Move.
Yeah, we can get something out here
Awesome.
very soon. That's not a problem at all. Any other questions?
All right. Got 'em.
Thanks.
All right. Pat, you're up.
I saved my question.
Happy August, everybody. My glasses on so I can see. Glad to be back. It's August. I do want to take a moment right off the bat. We had Sarah here earlier, and I just want to commend her. She's also our new head office secretary at the high school. And I just want to let you know how incredibly well organized she is. Attention to detail. You can see how many young people are involved in cheer. That's a big group of kids. I mean, it's bigger than some of our, traditional, what you think of as a high school sport. I mean, there's a lot of kids participating. That's what we want, our kids participating, because that engages them in school in other ways and excites them to be there and have a reason to show up on a daily basis. So I do want to just recognize her and the work she does. And she knows how to build programs. She puts things together at the lowest levels here in town, and has a lot of kids and grows them from very young age to participate at the high school level. Being the beginning of the year, most of my reports, like Adam's, is around staffing. We are obviously, as well as the FCS, we're doing our registration today and tomorrow as well. We have the forms pre-printed out. What we're looking at mostly are for students who are either new or there's changes. To be frank, we do not get the turnout at the high school for registration at the same level. So that registration just rolls over from the previous year, that information. So I think I reported in June that we were able to fill that vacant ag position. Jennifer Lookabot took that position. She is, I think, now has made the full transition and moving to the mainland. She's been working for the county. There is a county of Maui. I learned that So I'm assuming the county is the entire state, the entire island, I'm going to assume. So she's been working there as a grant coordinator for them, and she's also has been a teacher both there and in Alsea. She's from Oregon. She's from the Alsea area. What's really great about her is it just worked out well. Obviously we've been trying to fill this position, but we couldn't have too many restrictions. But she is more on the animal science, veterinary science is her interest and her expertise in the shop, while Katie, our current ag teacher, who's been doing it on her own this last year, her passion is more on the horticulture, plant science side of things. So they complement each other really, really well in what we can offer students. So I'm really excited that we're going to be able to offer animal science, veterinary science, which we were able to offer limited last year. Obviously limited offering of the ag mechanics and utilization of the shop classroom. And also within that, with that freeing up, Katie, but we're able to offer forestry as a course, which I'm really excited about because that was before I did this, that's what I did. So I'm excited to have that opportunity for our students. We did this, I mentioned here, as of last week, and I wrote this report, we're in the process of hiring a new libraries specialist. We have hired that person. Got very fortunate. We were able to hire someone into the position who actually is a licensed school librarian, which they're rare. Actually, they're very rare to find. And this is a position that's actually a classified position. So someone she is retired as a teacher, but she's retired early. So she's excited about getting back and being able to work in the library. And she's actually, when Dory was a principal, she worked with Dory in the Independence area. So some connection there. So she's excited to get started up. Let's see what else. Like I said, I mentioned Sarah Hillier joining us in the office. But since I wrote this, she's also taken on another role. I don't know how much this is out there, but John Taylor, who has been our athletic director and our graduation coach, and has been with the district, I think, since 2017 or so. He's in the process of transitioning his life over to the coast area where he owns a business and his wife owns a business. So he actually resigned his position as athletic director and as graduation coach. So Sarah is going to take over as athletic director as well, which is an extra duty contract, which is her, like I said, her demonstration of growing programs from the young ages up and her attention to detail and organization skills and communication skills, I think are going to really benefit us.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm telling you, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. She's going to, if there's such a thing, she's going to overdo it, I think, which is great. We want to see people overdoing it. But we still do have the position. We're going to be posting the graduation coach position, hopefully tomorrow as well, to get that filled. And I think we have some good candidates for that. And he's not new to the district, but new to our building. Chris Harmon will be transitioning from the FCS as a middle school English language arts teacher to a high school English language arts teacher. He's also PE endorsed, so he's going to be teaching some PE courses for us. And just kind of a big piece of news that I'm trying to get out to everybody and sharing with people during registration, and we'll be putting out communication in Parent Square. It's already been out on Facebook. Unlike past years where we've had freshmen come on the first day by themselves, on that Tuesday the 3rd, it will be 9 through 12 starting on that first day. The reason for that is last year when we had to do all the math regarding snow days and we had to add that day, we had to approve adding that day to the calendar for instruction. That was purely for 10th and 11th graders. And that was because the 10th and 11th graders were not in attendance that first day. And so by having students attend that first week on that Tuesday of the 3rd, hopefully we will not run into that issue we had to address last year. So that's the main reason. As a result, we're going to do something kind of exciting this year. In the past, we've done some freshman orientation stuff in August, but they've all been very adult heavy with staff running that. Julie Holsey will be taking over our leadership class this year, which I think is going to be really exciting too. She's working with the leadership kids. So next Thursday, we're going to have freshmen in, and it's going to be a student-led. So our leadership kids are going to be doing an orientation for our freshmen, which for me, I think is really exciting because a lot of the times that freshman orientation is about like tours and kind of semantics of high school, which you learn really quickly, frankly, and especially in a small high school. For our freshmen, the biggest thing that's on their mind is the big kids, the seniors, the juniors, the sophomores coming into that high school. So for them to be able to come in on that day before school starts and start to build relationships with their leadership kids and have someone that they can recognize in the hallway on that first day, and to help them out if they do need it, I think that's going to be a good opportunity and experience for them. Let's see what else. Oh, forgot to add, I know, it was a tough decision to send the cheer team to Las Vegas. So if the board feels it's necessary to send another chaperone, I will take one for the team and take a hit. So just keep that in mind. Let's see what else I got. I had notes because there was stuff that's happened since I wrote this. I just want to make sure I hit them all. I think I got them all. Yeah. So that's it for me.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
How much communication has gone out about all students starting September 3rd? And I asked that because there was question on social media
Yeah.
about that. And I looked like on a district website on the
Mhm.
calendar and it says, first day, September 3rd.
Mhm.
But I think when changes happen, right, people are like, well, is this everyone? Or
Mhm.
it wasn't like called out to say all students first day of school.
Yeah. So and that's why I've been making a really, an effort today to make sure to communicate that as a result of that coming out. There was an official information put out on Facebook, and there'll be stuff going out on Parent Square this week as well to communicate about that. But yeah, that was something, in one of those things that, you come back in August and you're like, oh, we didn't do that. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
we're on that one.
Okay. And my second question is, can you remind me, it's not off of this, but can you remind me what the standalone option for the financial literacy is, because of everything that's been kind of cleared up at the state level, that there has to be that standalone financial
Good news
literacy?
is we have been offering personal finance as a course already. It has not been a required course. It's been an elective, but we have someone on staff who's been teaching it. It is a required course for the class of 2026. So it is built in to that. We already have it in place. We will just transition it to being a required course. Or I think I've got it scheduled for during their junior year, because their senior, they already have some required courses, economics, government, senior focus. So I've scheduled that to be a junior required course. So our sophomores for this year will be required to take it next year.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Sarah can do this job.
Yeah.
With her, she's so energetic. But are you going to get her OSAA, some kind of training to help her out?
Yeah, we signed her up today. OSAA does a new athletic director training. They have several that they do. They go all over the state. There's one, luckily we're close enough, so she'll be able to go to the in-person one at the OSAA office in Wilsonville. And that's, I believe, it's in August or early September, one of the two. John's around to help hand off as well. So all the fall sports are kind of, the schedules are set, coaching certifications are all taken care of. So the fall seasons are all kind of in place. So she will be doing the training there, as well as I know I needed to deepen my understanding of some of this stuff as well. I've never been an athletic director. So I attended the OSAA administrator webinar yesterday as well. So my understanding of the requirements for OSAA, how it functions, deadlines, upcoming dates, how you do certain processes is something I'm increasing my learning as well. So I will continue to do that through this school year. Because I know there's been some questions that have come up in the past, and so I want to make sure that I have all the information that could be there. So
I appreciate that.
Oh, you're
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question. I had that one too. Thanks, Larry. The grad coach position that now you're going to fill, what sort of certification does it take to fill that? Like, what person is it classified? Is it Where does it land?
It's a classified position as it is right now. I have someone who I think would be really, really good at it, who's internal.
No, I think that's great. I
yeah,
was just curious what you're looking for in that. Like,
Yeah, the main thing is that the person who, the biggest part, I mean, it's such a relational position because you're working with kids who are, going into their junior and senior year with looking at some really big challenges that they may have created for
could be
themselves.
knocking on doors. And
Yeah.
come to school.
Yeah, but they have to have that kind of that tough love kind of personality. They got to be able to be trustworthy, build relationships with the kids, but also, bird dog them on things that need to get done.
So you're not necessarily looking for an educator. You're looking for someone who can personalize with
Mhm.
these kids.
Yeah.
Get 'em.
And then it also goes that one step farther too. It's not just about getting that kid the diploma. It's also part of it is also like, okay, we're going to get the diploma, but what are we doing after the diploma? And so I want someone who's not just a college focused person, but a career focused person as well.
And is that full time?
Yes.
I've got one more quick question. Could you maybe, I just keep reading more about cell phones this year and this fall. Give me a quick refresher on where
Yeah.
we're at. And then I know we have a policy.
Yeah, I feel really good because you have heard a lot about it and
Yeah.
we were ahead of the curve. And I think what a lot of people are going to experience, what we experienced last year, and that is some growing pains. It's not going to happen in 1 year. I just want to tell all those districts, you're just not going to hit it out of the ballpark in the first year. I feel I just want to call every one of those school districts who have elected this. I can't remember. I don't know if it's Portland Public Schools or Tiger Tualatin. One school spent $60,000 on those yonder pouches that I looked at and did a lot of homework on. And I wanted so our policy is pretty much what you've been reading. I mean, obviously we do not take the phones away from the kids when they come in the building. The phones are, when they're in class, are to be not present. They can be in their pocket, they can be in their backpack, but that phone does not come out while they're in class. And then there is a process if that happens. The teacher, the first time is just, a reminder, especially at the beginning of the school year, is that first time is a reminder. Second time is a confiscation. Third time is an office visit where the office keeps the phone. And depending on if it's a first time where that's happened or we look at kind of on a case by case basis, if it's truly problematic, does a kid come and pick it up at the end of the day from the office, or do I need to call the parent to have them come and pick it up at the end of the day to engage a conversation with the parent? So it's kind of a tiered approach, but it's what you're seeing and reading about in those districts, except for those ones that have elected to spend the money on the pouches. It's pretty much the same thing. Lunch, before school, after school, phones are acceptable, but during the instructional time, not in play at all.
We never did the pouches, right?
No.
Okay.
So, on going back to that, is there, are you sending out a letter to the parents saying, if you need to get in contact with your student during school time, you could call the office?
We did that last year. We'll do another reminder. And I gave them the phone number of the school. It's just like, we all went to school before cell phones, everybody in this room, except for maybe Kale.
Even me.
And it worked, right? It worked. When you needed to get a hold of your kid, you called the school if it was an emergency. And so that is the same communication that will continue to parents. Yeah.
Because there was the summer boards, there was a superintendent from Klamath Falls that started 2 years ago. He put it in there at the beginning and it drove it real hard to the parents that you can call if you need your students, but don't call them on their cell phones while they're in classes.
Yeah, that was the first piece of communication. When we put this in place last year, that was a big part of the communication was, here is our phone number. If you need to reach your kid, this is how you do it.
We got this going on at the high school. What are we doing at the middle school?
It's the same set of rules at the middle school. We just didn't do a public thing about it. So we have our morning meetings with the kids, and they have the only difference is who shows up. So for them, we used to have a teacher's discretion. A couple of teachers would use it for like a Padlet or something. But then we went to no cell phones in the class just at all. So if they see it, say if there's a warning, someone will put away. If it's an issue again, they have to give it to the teacher. If they refuse to give it to the teacher, then Mandy, student manager comes. If they refuse Mandy, I come. And if I ever come, I keep it for as long as I want. It's what the kids think. And so I've had to take one phone in the last 2 years. And I was giving it to the dad, and the dad broke the phone over into the game.
Oh.
So, and that ran through the whole middle school with no more phones. But that was very supportive of not using cell phones in appropriate times or listening to the authority figures that tell you that. So middle school last year and a half, since we've kind of been doing that model, hasn't had a lot of phone issues. Where we tend to find any kind of phone stuff is outside of school. And then it spills into this online thing happened, and now it's spilled into school, so it becomes our thing to deal with. Very rarely is it during school hours.
It's surprising how many, kids will like, sometimes the teacher will ask, you need to give me your phone, and the kid is just like, no. And then they call me, and then we've gone from having an issue with a cell phone, we've gone to an insubordination, which is a different, part of the discipline process as well. So now you're looking at something completely different at that point. It's rare that when I come in the office, like Adam says, if I come to the classroom, I've never left without the phone. So I don't know what I do differently, but I guess it's just that we're in the hat of principle,
Still undefeated.
Yeah.
We'll ask you again next year.
Yeah. And like I said, what I did the follow-up in June with you guys was, what the learning areas, and it was for our teachers too, and they had a really good, honest conversation about it with each other about accountability to each other. Because, you got one teacher that's really working hard, because it's work, right, to enforce that. And then maybe another teacher who's gotten kind of tired of the process. And then that affects the relational between the staff. And so they had a good, honest conversation about being accountable to each other too, and supporting each other. And I think that's going to be a big next step in that, is not only like being accountable to the policy, but being accountable to each other as professionals. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Pat? Anybody? All right. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank
Need it.
All right, next up, we got superintendent report from Dory.
All right. Good evening, welcome to August. It did seem odd to not have a July meeting. It's kind of like, where is everybody and what am I doing? And in some ways it was a nice break. In other ways it felt kind of, we were out of sync and preparing for this one. But I apologize for all the emails of, now this is coming. So here's my report for tonight. I want to touch on grants. I was notified that there was an error through ODE in a calculation for the high school success grant. We ended up 30,000 short over last year's funding. And typically those grants are funded at 49% the first year, 51% the second year. So we have made some cuts. We're still able to get some staffing in there. I have not heard of any kind of remedy from the Oregon Department of Ed for that error in calculation. I know some of the larger districts, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars in the difference for that grant. So there was a lot of superintendent chatter in the last week. The other grant is our student investment account at just over 800,000, provides for 4 licensed positions and 2.5 classified positions. And so, along with our contract with Yamhill County Mental Health. I also did want to mention that we did not get the YCCO grants. We had applied for 2, and we are still seeking feedback on those 2 grants to learn to see what we can do differently next time. And then, of course, Just Look Left is working on some of the grants for Barbara Roberts.
Can I ask a question about the CE material and supplies that we'll have to have less funding available? What would that equal like? What would we normally buy for Avid and CPE material supplies?
Well, and the other thing is that we got a secondary career pathways that Katie, the CTE teacher, is gonna manage. And it, yeah, and it's like $9,600. So she'll be able to spend that on CTE stuff. So I think that will kind of cover.
I was just curious what would normally go into that.
It's about 15 to 20,000 that we've had for CTE supplies. And then we've also covered out.
Is that like metal and wood and gas, all the things to
And
make
some of
the
the stuff
shop
for
work
art.
and, okay.
Yeah, and we've got visual arts, and it's like, I can't remember one time they bought like some random, I can't remember, it was like some stuffed animals or something that they needed for this, a lesson they were teaching, and food when they're doing the cooking and that kind of stuff, so.
So it's kind of like a miscellaneous category that handles all.
And then I've also just eliminated travel. So we will not be going to Abbott Summer Institute. We did it this last summer. And they do offer it virtually. So we can do that without the travel expenses. But in previous years, training for Abbott was also included in this grant. So that was removed. We're going to continue our strategic planning with Studer. I have a call with Brent tomorrow to just work out our dates, secure our fall surveys. We will do fall and spring surveys, and looking forward to that. Our administrators are now trained on the results rollout. And we will also be, Brent will be here in service week, that first day to meet the district leadership team, and we start to develop scorecards. So we're gonna, and it's new to me, but my understanding is we start to make some action steps and figure out how they're going to be measured in those 3 pillars. So we're excited to get going with our year 2. I just want to touch on Robert C. Tech, a little bit different, some of the things I've been working on from the SEDCOR presentation. I am thinking about an idea of utilizing our truck driving simulators to invite groups of people in to learn about the trucking industry, to learn about diesel tech career, and let them try out a simulator and have some refreshments and just, spend some time talking and networking. We've already discussed about the demolition of the current building, and I had this on here when I created a week ago that we need to have that conversation and get moving and get a decision made. Ignite Pathways, I was introduced to Michelle Berry through a local colleague, and she is the director of a rural CTEC in Woodbine, Iowa. I had a Zoom meeting with her, and I was just blown away. It was one of those conversations where, okay, it can be done. This is a district of 500 students. Woodbine is a population of 1,700, and they built, I think it was a 45,000 square foot career tech center. And they have people go there all the time to tour their facility. They start with Spark Academy for middle school, and I believe the bulk of their high school is involved in some type of pathway. And they have off-site pathways as well, so not all of them are in the building, which was kind of something I've been thinking about. Like, for instance, if we want to partner maybe with Spirit Mountain for culinary, and they have the kitchen, and then we are busing out there and we provide the classroom. That's what they have designed. So I will be reaching out to her and continue to have meetings with her on, hey, how did you do this? And just kind of learn from her experience. And she's emailed me several times as follow-up, and just very, very encouraging. So that was a really good connection. I think I just sent you the link, or you can just Google Ignite Pathways, and you can take a look at their website.
I was gonna say, I heard about this, and then I'm thinking, God, I think you want to, like in June, said something about that.
Yes, yeah, it was good. It was a good meeting.
Now, when is the trailer for the simulator, for the truck driving simulators coming?
I have asked Sean for the timeline on that.
Is it like getting built yet?
Yes,
or-
I think so.
Yeah, so sooner than later.
Yes.
It's in production. I still think we should take that to the Capitol and park it out front.
Okay. Well, and we were invited to a CTE conference to bring it.
Yeah.
So
I
I
think we should
asked
take
him.
it everywhere.
As soon as we get our van.
And we have
With
to
our
get the van.
Get something to pull it first.
I got a truck, I'll hook up, let's go.
All kinds of possibilities with that third one. Yeah, I am Sean's working on it. Oh, that's right.
I got big trucks.
All right, so just some information also on in-service week. Coming up rather quickly, we'll have the All District Welcome Back. You're invited to attend. And then that afternoon, Brent will be here to work with the district leadership team. We'll have Power School training, as previously mentioned, and then local level meetings. And then Wednesday, teacher work day with some community meetings, and then Thursday, teacher work day as they prepare for the start of school. And since my days as an elementary principal, I always felt like in-service week is jump on the train, because you have such a limited amount of time to be ready to open the door for our students. And seeing registration today, Midco had a table up at Faulkner Chapman and ready to get the bus transportation going. We had a very good meeting with them last week. So we just continue to move forward and prepare for in-service week. All right, and then just a couple other comments that I have before I open up your questions. I learned recently that Virginia Garcia Clinic will be moving into the Adventist Health building over here. I've been in contact with them. They're going to bring a mobile van next Tuesday to offer sports physicals and vaccinations. So very grateful to them to jumping on with that. I had asked about the timeline for when they would open the clinic, and they said since it's federally funded, it won't be until sometime in 25. So I was disappointed on that, but they are more than willing to get us a mobile van when they can. And so I'll start building that partnership for those services. I did also want to mention, I've done a review of our committees and the Substance Use Prevention Committee, the admin team, and we had a conversation about it. It was a committee that I felt wasn't getting anywhere. And we would have different people attend, and I just couldn't get the traction going. So what we had proposed to do is to get some high school students, and this would be a senior project for a couple of students, is to form a group of students to work on substance use prevention and have it be student-led. We'll have our new district nurse, Rebecca Morris, can help facilitate that. But we just need to get our students involved. We can't have the adults making the decisions for them. And I think that's going to get a lot more traction. And we can say that we have, a couple $1,000 if we want to bring in some of the guest speakers, or let's look at some other county resources and what will impact our students and what our students need to know about substance use. So that was one of the changes going into the year. And then I'm just going to continue to work on just the Robert C. Tech and how we move forward with that and leverage those truck driving simulators and get with SEDCOR and just the grant writing. We could keep chipping away at this. All right, I report for tonight for August. Questions or comments?
I love the idea of getting the simulators out there and kind of targeting it, invite some people to talk about CTE. It's just a great conversation piece. Reason to show up.
They're very, very unique. I've tried to find out if we are the first high school with truck driving simulators, and I think we are. I've tried to reach out to different entities, and they're like, we don't know of anybody that has those. Jamaica does.
Yeah.
But not a high school. So we want to leverage that.
On the drug task force, I noticed that the meetings have kind of tailed off a little bit. And I know it was summer, the last one we had, I think there was only 6 people show up. But we have people come from the county and the tribes, but they're different all the time. And then for the district, it's different when they do show up, So I think we should draft them. Say 3 from Faulkner Chapman, 3 from the high school, and you do this for a year. And they gotta go to all the meetings. I don't think we could really do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But we need to get somebody that's committed to it, right? And we'll do it. We'll attend all the meetings.
Well, and on another connection that I had was a district on the coast, I can't remember which district it was, but it had a student empowerment team. And it was student leadership, but it focused on all aspects of teen health, which was really, really powerful. And they did like a leadership training, and it was just really cool what they were doing. And I'm thinking, that's the next step that our high school really needs.
The thing about that is it has peer pressure too involved with that.
Positive peer pressure.
Positive peer pressure.
Yes.
I mean, they might listen to kids before they would listen to any one of us.
Exactly right. And
I
it's
mean,
a good
they're all
opportunity
peers,
for our
but they're-
leaders and develop our leaders. We've got some great juniors and seniors this year to lead that.
But I think on the task force, we need some leaders on the other end. Maybe having a hard time, maybe using, we can't ask, all right, who's using, we want each other. We know what's going on, or has a troubled life at home or something. And that's the ones we need to talk to, not just all the ones that are walking down the straight path. Get their side, how they see it, what will work, what won't work.
Sure.
All right, anything else for Dory? Anyone going once, going twice? All right, thanks, Dory. Moving on to the fiscal report. Do you want to say anything about that one, Karen?
I'm still working on finishing up prior fiscal year. The one thing, I did get this letter from the auditors, and they just want to let you guys know that they are getting ready. They'll come in November to do the audit. And so I included that letter for your reading.
Yeah, put me to sleep.
Exactly. Pleasure. That's what it's for.
In the chair.
Kelsey is still out on leave. Can I say?
Yes.
And she has resigned effective September 3rd, so she can stay home with her babies. I do not blame her at all, but I'm working with Jen to get the contracts out to have her, kind of step up and kind of do some of that stuff. It's very sad to me that she's staying home, but her babies are so adorable. So I can't blame her at all. And we went through, we had a big upgrade to our finance system, the software. And so I really haven't run into anything that's bad. It's just different. So that's, I'll go to run a report and then the fields are in a different place. So, but it's all good. And then I did get to go to the summer conference. I have not been to the WASPA summer conference in I think like 9 years. But it's so funny how it's such a small world because I still saw people that, I either worked with at Douglas ESD or MESD, and it was really fun to reconnect with those people and re-network. And it was also good. I got to face-to-face meet some of the ODE people that I work with, usually via email. The keynote speaker, how you get maybe one thing, and his thing was when you walk up to someone, you don't say, "Oh, how are things going?" Because that gives them a chance to give you something negative. You're supposed to say, "Tell me something good." So try to remember that when I talk to people, and then you also get that stupid song stuck in your head. I think it was a 70s song. I'm not even gonna sing it, but
I was like, could you sing it for me?
We're
Know
and then as I'm finishing up the prior fiscal year, I'll be doing some of the preliminary audit work and getting trial balance and that kind of stuff done. I think that's all I had.
All right, are we going to be hiring for Kelsey's position pretty soon, or?
That was one of our staff reductions.
Oh, okay.
So we reduced it by part-time, and then, like all the other districts, we're tight this year. We're gonna be keeping a close eye on it. My idea with providing some of the support for paid leave Oregon or some of those really technical HR things is that offer a personal service contract to Kelsey for up to so many hours a week. And that way, you know, she can do that remotely. But that way, those kinds of things are just very, very complicated, and she's really good at it. And I'm trying to protect Karen's time for what Karen needs to do. So that would definitely fill a gap. A lot of the other HR stuff, Jen will fill, and will do part-time HR and part-time food service for the year.
Makes sense.
Poor
See how we're
lady
doing
wanted
this
to work
one.
part-time and now she's back to full-time.
I know. We're keeping her busy.
Yeah.
She likes to get challenged.
All right, on to new and unfinished business. It's a new year, and do we need to roll through the board committees and check in on people on those? Do we need to renominate people for those, or we just,
I think it can just be.
do we want to make any
discussion on what
changes?
you'd like to
Okay,
do.
I don't have a list of those in front of me.
I quickly made a list.
Okay.
Facilities.
Facilities, okay.
So that would be the two key people for, the go-gourmet bond. Mike and Larry have been on there. They've been great. We've got our long-range facility plan to finish, and then going into bond work. Policies, is the other one. Robert Tech. And then for this year, I would like to add negotiations, because we will negotiate the charter for SHAPA for another 5 years. And we will be negotiating a full contract for contract negotiations for classified, and license will be fiscal only. And we typically do 1 or 2 people on negotiations.
Okay. So I got facilities, policy, negotiations,
And Robert Tech.
and Robert and CTEC, okay. All right, so does anybody want off their committee that they're on now? Like, do you guys want to stay on facilities? Does anybody want to join facilities? Talk about
That's
facilities.
fine, I'll stay on it.
Okay. Is that good with everybody? We good? Head nods are fine here. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
All
not-
right, congratulations, Mike and Mary. Still in facilities, yeah. Policy, I believe that's Ruby and I.
Yeah, I
right
want to
now.
stay.
Okay, I'm good with that one too. Anybody else want to join policy? We want to leave anybody out. It's really fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, yeah, okay. CTEC, I don't know who's on that one
Samantha.
currently. Samantha.
I would love to stay. I have great plans.
You can do the work of 5
I
of
mean, you
us
can
there.
kick me out,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be disappointing.
No,
No,
we-
Someone could join me though. I would love help.
Does anybody else want to join that one also, or?
What do you do on that CTEC?
Lots of things.
I
I
mean,
come to the monthly
honestly.
meetings. I help Abisha find businesses and people that she can talk to. So I introduce her to people. And we make those connections. We've gone on a number of tours. It's really a lot of talking to more politicians than I ever anticipated, but it's been good to learn.
I-
We're begging for money. That's what we're doing.
I might be interested in doing that.
Larry will join you. Perfect. I love a partner in crime.
Yeah, it's always nice to have two to go to things.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Larry. Negotiations is the last one.
Possibly me, but it would depend on the time of like meetings and
Usually
stuff.
early afternoon,
Oh, like,
like 4:35 starting.
oh, okay, yeah, if
Couple of hours.
it's like 4:35, I could do it.
Because it's after the workday is in,
Okay.
when we get going. In the past, we've been able to negotiate in 4 or 5 meetings. And then I have never negotiated a charter contract before. The board was finishing that up when I came on, so I'm not sure what that process looks like. I'm happy to learn, and I can talk to somebody at OSBA about that, because there's.
They'll always want to increase their attendance.
Yes, they will.
Does anyone else have interest in negotiations committee?
I have interest, but I can't be on the SHAPA because my kids are attending there now. So I would like to do the other part of the contract. So like, maybe somebody else could do the SHAPA side and I could do the other stuff. I just want to learn because I've never done negotiations.
I was going to propose something like that because I'm interested. I don't know if I want to commit to all three,
Maybe
but I
we
was
could
actually
split.
interested maybe in, doing SHAPA. And I know I sat in on last year, so I have a little bit of exposure to it. So you could kind of be a 3-headed committee and see who can do
On
it.
that,
Yeah.
on that Sharpen, negotiation when Steve was there, was it just you and myself on that, or was there more than, or was it most of the board?
No, it's just we negotiated with you and I, and then we presented to the board.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, so just to recap, we got facilities, we got Mike and Larry, policy, we got Ruby and I. C-Tech is Samantha and Larry. And negotiations, we have Samantha, Ruby, and myself. Pretty good? Yeah.
Okay.
Be like, give them all the money. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I know.
I don't think last year, we'll talk about it. Soon.
Oh, okay.
I was really terrified first. After you see it.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah, that's great. That's great balance. So, yeah. Okay, let's get on to action items. We have a handful listed here. Looks like we have some annual ones, dairy, Cisco, bread. If you look through each one of these, there is motion wording on the bottom. If anybody wants to make a motion, the first one is the dairy request for proposals. Actually, it's the award extension of the dairy proposal.
It should say I move, not I motion. That's not proper.
Robert's rules. We are here.
I don't know who did it. It's wrong.
What should it be?
I move, not I motion.
I move the district extend award RFP D 2020-2025 to Spring Valley for the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Ruby and a second from Samantha. Any other discussion? If not, Gail, could you take the vote for us?
Yes. Griffin.
Aye.
Larry Dowell.
Aye.
Matt Baggy.
Aye.
Ruby Artis.
Aye.
Scott Burke.
Aye. Okay, the dairy motion passes. Next up is the Cisco contract award for food products and non-food supplies for the next school year.
I move the district extend the food products and non-food supplies RFP award to Cisco Portland for the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Samantha and a second from Larry for the Cisco food proposal. Any other discussion? If not, Gail, can you take a vote on this one?
Yes. Griffin.
Aye.
Larry Dowell.
Aye.
Matt Baggy.
Aye.
Ruby Artis.
Aye.
Scott Burke.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. I like this one. It's just a bread RFP. Goody man. Yep. Okay. We have the item in front of us to award the contract for the next school year to Goody Man for bread.
Nobody? Okay, I move the district extends award RFP B 2020-2025 to Goodyman Distributing for the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Ruby and seconded by Samantha. Any other discussion? If not, Gail, go ahead and please take a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Matt Baggy.
Aye.
Ruby Artis.
Aye.
Scott Burke.
Aye. All right. Next up, we have the board calendar, which it looks like we have all of our normal Wednesdays. Do we have any?
And board work sessions, sometimes the first Wednesday of the month
Okay.
as a placeholder. Just so that we have those scheduled
There's a
out.
Saturday too.
And there's a Saturday that we typically do in January.
Gotcha.
Saturday day.
In June.
In June.
Oh,
No.
Mm-mm.
that's graduation.
Oh,
Gotta
okay.
go up.
Go up. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
January.
Hey, they're pretty close in color there.
Okay. Do we need a motion to discuss this? Let me be clear.
Technically to this.
Technically, we do,
If we
right?
want to change anything, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any comments about this one? We want to talk, we got to do that
You have
first,
to have a
right?
motion first.
We got to have a motion first. Thank you. Okay.
I motion to approve the calendar.
You move.
I move to approve the calendar.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the 24-25 board calendar. Do you have any discussion on this one? Questions about any of the dates?
Can we get calendar invites out to all those just as placeholders?
That would be lovely.
Do you have any questions, Paul?
No, I'm looking at, these are all just board dates. I know we have like the conference in November. We don't need to put all that stuff on there though. We can handle that as it comes up, so. Okay. If there's no other questions, then Gail, can you take a vote, please?
Mike Ritter.
Aye.
Larry Dowell.
Aye.
Samantha Baggy.
Aye.
Ruby Yaris.
Aye.
Scott Berg.
Aye. All right, board calendar is approved, 5-0. Next up, we have the board and superintendent operating agreement for 24-25.
I move to accept the superintendent board agreement as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Samantha, seconded by Larry to approve the board superintendent operating agreement for the following school year. Do you have any questions? Are there any major changes in
There were no
this? So you
changes.
talk about same as last
Do
year.
this every year.
Yep.
We did revamp it though, was it last year?
I think so.
Yeah, we got the folders for the copy out last year, I think, but yeah, it looks the same to me, so. Yeah. Okay. If there are no questions, then Gail, could we move to a vote on this one too?
Yes, Mike Ritter.
Aye.
Larry Dowell.
Aye.
Samantha Baggy.
Aye.
Ruby Yaris.
Aye.
Scott Berg.
Aye. Okay, moving on to the second to last item, we have 24-25 organizational procedures. Do we have a motion to,
I move to accept the 2024-2025 organizational procedures as presented.
I second.
okay, it's been moved by Samantha, seconded by Ruby to approve the 24-25 organizational procedures. I see a couple of dates struck out, some names replaced. The bank moved to McMinnville.
Yes, our US Bank branch here in Sheridan closed.
Mhm.
So yes, it's gonna change that.
I heard that our school health manager was on a temporary basis, until you find another one. Does that mean this would be updated in the middle of the year if you found someone or?
Rebecca Boris is our school health manager. She has been hired.
Right, but I thought that there was a
Something
chance
very-
that somebody was gonna replace her if the right person came along.
Yeah, it could. It would change it mid-year. You're correct. I'm gonna try to talk her into staying.
No, she's great.
So my thing here, do I get to ask this question? before we vote?
This is a good time.
The newspaper publication is the News Register. Have we been sending any information to the News Register? Because I have not seen that anywhere, ever.
It's where we publish the budget notices
Okay.
and the budget
Budget
committee
calendars,
meetings.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like board meetings or anything like that.
I don't know about that.
No, they pick them up though, they're in there. We don't publish them, but they publish them as a part of the circuit of public meetings, so.
And this just states that that is our go-to for if we do want to have a story in. That's who we would contact.
That's one thing, well, I'll tell you when my turn comes up.
All right, any other discussion? Okay, Gail, did you take a vote for us?
Mike Ritter.
Aye.
Larry Dowell.
Aye.
Samantha Baggy.
Aye.
Ruby Yaris.
Aye.
Scott Berg.
Aye. All right, the motion passes 5-0. And the last item is our agenda change, item 9G that we approved in the consent agenda to discuss tearing down the Jefferson Street building. So like before, we would need a motion before we discuss. So if anybody wants to move on.
I second it.
As soon as we can.
All right, it's been moved to tear down the Jefferson Street building by Michael as soon as we can, seconded by Samantha. So I'd like the official motion like that. Gives a little oomph to it.
Question.
Yeah.
Who would be tearing it down?
That would be.
Mike.
I think Mike's volunteering. I mean, I haven't tried.
construction company. We've had conversations with Cascade Steel to bring their trucks, and they've offered to haul off all the metal.
And pay us for it.
And pay us for it.
So as soon, if we vote for tonight for the destruction of the building, when will that begin?
I would need to have a conversation with Brennan and OTEC for the best time this fall.
They've been waiting on our go-ahead.
It would be sometime this fall, but I think also we're gonna really try to secure those land for donations if we can.
Well, yeah,
So as soon as that we can say, we've had a board decision to do this, and they can pick a window of time saying, okay, the first week of November.
How can we plan this all together?
And I would really like to do demo day and have t-shirts and, you
Can we do
know.
it before November?
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, when Dr. tell them we need to get it done now, because we got some gravel at a discount price, if we can get that done.
this year.
Yeah. And
It has to be
then
done this year.
Yeah, Trevor with Brimmick has been talking with Riverbend. So I was showing them, that conversation was even happening this week.
Don't forget, we talked about doing the live stream setup or the overtime thing so that people can watch it.
Yeah, we gotta record
We
that.
gotta share it.
Yes. Sean has a drone. He made us drone out there.
Yeah, document it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of the presentations we had here, they were talking about like a full window where we had to approve by a certain date so they could do it by a certain date. So there's like a cascading schedule.
Trevor will know
So
when you-
I think they're gonna have a hard date on that. Like if we approve now,
Mhm.
it's not gonna be long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can't we do with that building next year that we did this year? I mean, we can't store things for people, you know, we lose a little revenue or things like that, but
We're gonna be storing more stuff in the paint building. And Rotary has offered to help get that cleaned out. That is a big space. And there's things that we can definitely store in there. We have the lockers that we've purchased at a significant discount. Those need to be stored. And we have helped Rotary out by storing a concession stand. That can also go in the paint booth. The rest, I don't think we want that is in that building. So
Yep.
it would all be torn down in the concrete. Yes, all that dug up.
yeah. I know we had a few
And
public
most of
events
it's
there
framed
too,
up. It's
so.
all
The
framed up,
FFA
or
banquet
that
was
one
there.
frame's still in
They had
there?
stuff for Sheridan
Yeah,
Days
right.
there.
The big crane is in there.
I mean, hometown days.
Nobody
The
ever wanted.
FFA banquet was in there and it's a wonderful space for that, but they already knew this would be their last year there.
Oh, good.
Mhm. So we could maybe do that in the cafeteria, one of their schools. We'll just pick up and move, which
Or another venue.
maybe that helps
Seating
with
options.
with the bond. So we can say, hey, come look at our facilities. We're pitching that too, so. All right, anybody else have any other comments, questions, observations? Okay, well, it's been moved, seconded, and discussed. So Gail, can you go ahead and call a vote for us?
Bobby Griffith,
Aye.
Larry Neville,
Aye.
Samantha Baggy,
Aye.
Ruby Yoris,
Aye.
Scott Berg.
Aye. Okay, 5-0, the building is coming down, so.
He said he'd laugh if I said no.
Does anyone have any topics you want to talk about next meeting? Anything to bring up? Anything come to mind?
Vaughn, are we still on May 25?
That's gonna be, I think September, we will have our last long-range facility plan meeting. And then that'll come to the board for approval in October. And then I think our October meeting, we will start discussing, do we want to go for a bond in May? Based on that priority list.
9 months till election right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd like to know better.
I mean, if we want to talk about it next
We can
month.
talk about it next month.
Yeah, maybe just
Yeah.
bring it up in the report
Okay.
would be a good thing, yeah.
What about our student peeps?
So our students will be back.
Okay.
I will converse emails with them and they will be ready, they'll start in September.
Excellent, okay. Anything else? All right, if you think of anything else, feel free to email Dory or.
Or you?
And, or me, yep, email me.
I do want to mention very quickly, because I forgot the date, October 2nd is our first board work session for the year. We will have Angela from the tribe to talk about the movie. So if I have any pre-information on the MOU by the 14th, I can add that to the agenda as well.
Great, that sounds great, yeah. Yeah, we should have information about conference by September, so we can start
Yes.
at least tentatively planning if we're gonna do that one. Very well, all right, move on to board comments. I'll just go around this way. You got anything, Larry?
I did go to the summer boards. I did participate with the small school caucus twice, 3 times, as a matter of fact. And to find out what they are attempting to do, because they just started last spring. I said, well, we're just, as a school, actually what it ended up being is a bitch about the state, ODE, and the mandates is being brought down from, for us as small schools to deal with. And how do you deal with that? And these are coming from all small schools all over the state of Oregon. I mean, it's not only us, it's everywhere. And I don't know what ODE is going to attempt to do. And, you know, ODE is supposed to be paying out, it's supposed to be giving us another $1 billion in this next cycle. And the question was brought up is how far does that funnel down to? Who's going to get all that? Is it going to go just to ODE and sit there, or is it going to be distributed equally across the state for small schools? There's more small schools in the state of Oregon than there's large schools. And it's amazing that some of the smallest schools out there is like Pinecrest down at outside of Ashland. They've got only 30 kids in their school. And so what they do with some of that money that they do get, is they get $20,000 from OSBA, but that goes towards to send their representatives to the conferences in the fall and in the summer, because they don't have enough money to spread it out for stuff like that. It's interesting. Jennifer Schultz, who is the president, she said that hopefully come fall that we know more about what the small schools is going to be attempting to do. It's good for us because we are advocates for small schools. So then they are going to go into the legislature and start hitting them hard on that. Apparently is what they said. And any one of us can be on that caucus. All you have to do is just sign up.
Yeah, I'm signed up.
And there's probably more. And so I'm signed up too as well. But how they figure it out, the representative, small schools represent Polk and Yandell County. There's only 7 schools. You have to have 9 to have 1 representative. So there's 2 schools because we have 2 Newburgh and McMinnville large schools. So that leaves Yandell, Willamina, Amity, and Dayton. There's 7 there. No, that's 5 or 7. And Polk County is big schools are Dallas and Independence.
Central, yeah.
Central. So there is no other schools except maybe Fall
Like
City.
Willamina's half and half,
Yeah, but that counts for one small school.
right?
What about Perrydale?
Perrydale.
Perrydale, that's another small one. Whatever it came up to,
School, yes.
in those 2 counties, there's only 7 small schools in our
Yeah,
2 counties.
so we're not well represented.
We are fully represented because we have it large, and it's the guy from Dallas that we elected to take that position. Even though he's in a larger school, he wanted to do that, so they said, sure.
Well, and Dallas is still small compared to Portland and Salem and other places. So like they said, rule is how you define it.
And it's kind of interesting too, because they use their CSDs a lot more over in the eastern part of the state to do like administrative stuff. help write the grants and all that kind of stuff. They help CSCs do that for them over there. And interesting, some of the interesting other ones I went to with the ethics, which is big this coming year. There's been new laws put into place for ethics on how you're supposed to run your boards and stuff, and how they're supposed to be set up. And if you do Zooms, you have to have it capable for the people to talk if they want to make a presentation. A lot of that was being bannered around. Other things that was interesting was, and it was administrative, actually, class that I went to, but they said I could go in there and participate, so I did. And it was about election laws, how to set up the elections, how to set up for bonds, how to do all this stuff with the state of Oregon, because they'll help you out with your bonds and all that kind of stuff. Other than that, it was general. The general had some major speakers there. They had this guy from Klamath Falls. He came in there 2 years ago and he changed that place around. He has food services, do meals. They don't do, bring in meals. They make meals. And they asked the people about this one, I think it was Roosevelt, grade school, and because he changed the food services part. And there was this lady from Eugene, no, not Eugene, yeah, Eugene, and she was a grandmother who has a granddaughter that goes to school there. And he went up there and said, well, did you talk to your daughter about the food services? And she said, yeah. And he says, how do they like the food? And they said, they really like it really well compared to what they were getting before.
That's great.
And he came from Texas, so he had a whole different perspective.
Klamath Falls School District?
Klamath Falls School District.
We can reach out to them and find out at least how they did it. We're finding out.
And it was kind of amazing to just listen to. And there was this other guy that was talking about for equity and equality and the other one, all put together, all three of them. And he was a black gentleman, and he was talking about how to make it fair for everybody, even though there is some schools out there that's all white students, and they need that equity and equality and diversity as well in all white schools. He says it's not only blacks, it's not only Hispanics, it's everybody out there that needs this kind of stuff going on. And it just struck me kind of, wow, this guy's talking totally different.
Yeah, that's great. There's a lot of categories of diversity that need to be reflected in all the schools.
So it was a good thing. Oh, and besides that, I got a certificate for leadership, another one that I didn't even know I had.
Good job, Larry.
For leadership. And I said, I've taken those leadership courses 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Did anybody else get out to the summer conference?
Just Karen, I think.
Just Larry? All right. Well, thanks for representing us. And bringing the report
It was
back.
fun.
Yeah, there's good stuff in this.
And there, it wasn't as big as the fall. It was like 245 people there. But it seemed bigger than it was. And the food was good too. Feel like Italian.
All right. Any other comments? Okay. Thank you. Michael, anything to add?
Couple last month, I went to the community relations board over the prison, and they've started a new welding program over there, and they're real anxious to show up. So I want to know if the board wants to take a tour through the prison, look at the welding program.
Yeah,
Well-being, is that what you said?
welding.
Welding.
Welding, okay, gotcha.
They got a great big giant building, like right in the center of the compound, that you see, it's called their unicorn building, when they used to build furniture. And they've closed the furniture down, then they went to solar panels. They did that for a while, then they went to a phone-in service where you could order things. And on the phone, that didn't work out too well. It's building's been set vacant, now they turned into a big welding, or a big education department, and welding is a big part of it. And Wesley Shea is the executive assistant there, and I've talked to him for quite a bit. He wants us to come out and look at it.
Sounds like
I'd
good
be
stuff.
interested, yeah.
Want me to set up a date, or in mornings, afternoons,
Did on your weekends?
no, kids are on the weekend. Don't really need it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have anybody like teachers from, would want to go through and look at that. I can keep 2 or less than 10,
I'm gonna go.
10 or less, easier to run in this whole process.
I would say first half of October or after November for me, but I know you'll be gone, so.
In November?
I'll be gone in November, but if it works for my schedule, I would like to attend.
Okay.
Yeah, check out some dates if we can find some
If it
potentials.
helps anytime.
Yeah, I'll ask them what the date would be, and then I'll go back, let everybody know.
To be fair, my dad retired from the airport.
Okay.
Pick a Friday and maybe Jennifer.
Yeah.
Friday
Friday afternoons, I can leave.
Her first week on the job. We're gonna take that to
It's a thing, it's not. For the district, if we have welding that needs to be done, they got a welding program out there.
John should go.
Yeah.
Somebody come and do some welding.
Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for bringing that back. We'll try to get some potential dates going. See who can go, see who can make it. All right, Samantha?
Yeah, I have a request that in the future, when we have out-of-state proposals, I think this is great. Something with all the information that could be in the workbook ahead of time, so we can review it and kind of come prepared with our questions. Yeah, we got a heads up they're coming, but we really knew nothing about it. So I think there should be a form that they fill out or something they submit so that we can see it ahead of time.
Yeah, there's a nice template.
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. Yeah, it answered a lot of our questions right off the bat, and yeah, just helped meetings flow. Other than that, I hope that since we're rolling those material costs, that we seek donations for like wood and metal and other things that we can, because I bet it would not be hard to come up with what we need for our shop classes, especially once our new teacher gets here and knows what she needs and all that.
And Ken, if you can mention all the
Perfect, yeah. There's gotta be a way to help offset those costs. But that's it for me.
All right, Ruby?
No.
Okay, the only comment I have is thanks to our outgoing board chair, Samantha. Welcome to being a director, and same for you, our vice chair, Ruby.
Oh, thanks.
Last year, so me and Mike, take it over.
All right.
I'll be out at least once or twice this year, but I'll let you know. Before.
I'm sick already.
Okay, the rest of the events are in the agenda, and if there's no other comments, then we will adjourn the meeting. Thanks for coming, everyone.
8:04. Good job. I'm like, I felt that I had to wake up at 6 to be in Portland by